No, I'm not making any more YouTube poop videos, and I'm gonna try my damnedest not to even mention it anymore. Cause I don't want the current community bothering me. Call me an old man, call me old-fashioned, blah 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 blah. That's fine. Yes, okay.
Hello chumps, chumpets and everybody in between. This is YouTube Poop News 2.0 and I am your host of the day, the Mushroom Gamer. If you're wondering what you're watching right now, me and some other people on Discord got motivated one day to make a spiritual successor to Stuart K. Riley's news series. Ever since he retired, a certain hole seems to have been left in the community, so we've taken it upon ourselves to fill that hole and give you new info and happenings in the Poopscape. Well, that's enough introductions, let's get into the news. Since this is just episode 1, it might be a bit rough around the edges, but hopefully you'll enjoy it all the same. Anyway, here we go. This just in. Umbrus, who you might know as the Blast Zone boy, has recently returned to YTP and is active again in the community. If you weren't aware, Umbrus was a pretty popular pooper a couple of years back that got herself suspended on YouTube for being under 13. Luckily she was able to get back on the site before it closed, but she ended up leaving again not too long after. This is a shame considering that she was pretty popular and well respected by a lot of people. One example I could think of is Paper King 99, who was very happy to see her return. So yeah, go check out her channel, she's got a new YouTube poop up, it's pretty good and hopefully she'll stick with us for a little while. Next news. Despite many delays, P3 has been confirmed to have a release date of sometime next week, or at least that is what GuffKid is planning at the moment. If you weren't aware, P3 is like E3 but with YouTube poops, and anyone could submit a video teasing future projects that are in the works, or collab announcements. It's been pretty hyped up for the last few months, and a lot of people are pretty excited to see what these guys are going to show us. I mean, I already know a few of them, but my lips are sealed, including my own submission. So yeah, due to some production issues and IRL problems, it has been delayed a few times, but GuffKid has said that he's planning to release it by the end of the month, so likely at some point next week. So everyone who is currently riding the gravy hype train with no end, you'll just have to wait a little bit longer, and all your desires will be delivered. Okay, so we also have some sadder news, which technically did happen a little while ago, but I still wanted to address it here. Bandana Boy has left YouTube Poop and has closed his account with all of his videos. If you didn't know the guy, he pooped a bit like Paper King, and Kirby was his modus operandi source. His acid trips were also pretty iconic, so you might recognise them from these previews I'm putting on screen right now. Plus, as he improved, his videos really seemed to take on a surrealist tone, like Alpha 4 but less dark. Or at least that's my opinion with it. Yeah, he was pretty good at what he did, and a lot of people liked him and his work, including myself. I was often in correspondence with him on YouTube before he closed, and he really seemed to like my videos in return. So the news that he has left and wiped clean his legacy has hit me hard, especially with the knowledge that I now have no way to keep in touch with him, so he doesn't have a Discord as far as I know, and I think he abandoned his Twitter as well. I've managed to archive as many of his videos as I could on my YouTube Poop archive account, which I will link in the description, including both of his collabs. Unfortunately, I couldn't find all of his videos, so if anyone has a video of his that isn't already up on there, please contact me, so that I may preserve it there for future generations. So, in short, here's to you, Bandana Boy. You made people smile with your videos, and I have a feeling that you won't be forgotten in this community anytime soon. I was also clued into this other piece of info. Another pooper who has recently retired is I Teach Vader, who is someone you might well have heard of. He was quite influential quite a few years ago, and he made plot poops using the old CDI games, which became a fairly large trend around that time, and helped to revitalise the CDI games from their overused status in the late 2000s. Now if you're looking at the previews I'm showing you right now, you might be thinking to yourself, you know what? This looks a bit like Gaber-chan right here. Well, you're not too far off, good sir, since Gaber-chan actually gave Vader some of his assets from the King's Epic Adventure to use in a few of his videos. And the influence is definitely visible throughout his work, as you can plainly see. However, about a year ago, as far as I know, he announced that he was no longer making CDI poops, and he began to focus all of his work on more basic Robotnik poops, once again showing his preference for older sources that you might have noticed by now. Then, a couple of weeks ago, about 3 at the time of recording, He announced that he would be retiring from YouTube Poop, and he's been mostly inactive ever since. Thankfully, unlike Bandana Boy, all of his videos are still up and available, and I'll put a link in the description if you haven't seen him before. Hopefully at the moment he is doing well for himself. And last but not least, we have a more urgent announcement. The Lots of Spaghetti series needs your help. And if you don't know what that is, it's a documentary series produced by a wide variety of poopers including myself, that intends to finally tell a detailed and accurate story of the growth and spread of YouTube Poop, from the first poops to the present day. If you've been in the community for a while, you'll have noticed a noticeable lack of these sorts of videos, so we're sort of filling the gap there. Unfortunately, the second episode has been in development hell for several months now, and the forerunners are starting to get concerned that it might never arrive, so I've decided to take it upon myself to let y'all know about the project. If you think you could help out in any way, then head over to the Discord server, which is linked on their Twitter, which I'll put down below, and let them know that you'd like to contribute. Hopefully you will soon be able to get out of this rut and show you all the fruits of our labour. So that's the news for now. I know what you're thinking, I'm leaving out some pretty big events, but at this point we all already know about it, so I'd just be repeating common knowledge. So I'm gonna lighten the atmosphere a little bit and talk about some underrated poopers that I think need some more exposure. But first, a commercial break.
Fuck you, Baltimore!
If you're dumb enough to buy a new car this weekend,
You're a big enough schmuck to come to Big Bill Hell's car!
Will you buy it? Fuck yeah, you'll buy it. You love video games. You rub video games all over your cock when you jack off.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott, president of Domino's Pizza. Have you heard of Hatsune Miku?
Crazy Bruce's Liquors, we've got the bargains for you. Woo, woo, woo!
Hello and welcome back to the YouTube Poop News, where the worse diarrhea you have, the better you are at pooping. So like I said before we left, it's time to talk about a few YouTube poopers that I think need some more attention. Specifically 3 of them. I would highly recommend that you check everyone out that I'm going to list, because they all really need the attention. Also, if you're not on the list, then I apologize, but to list everyone of note would take hours, and obviously we don't have hours in this show. Well, here we go. This is 3 YouTube poopers that I think need more attention. First off on our list, we've got Nerd Chicken. I must confess, when I first saw him, I was a bit unsure about his style, as it seemed a bit too random and not really edited the cleanest. You might see what I mean here. Not awful, but not quite there yet. However, between January of this year and June, when he joined both of my recent collabs, I saw that he had really grown and matured as a pooper. His jokes are better, the pacing is more refined, and the editing is also much improved. With this in mind, I really do think that he's going to improve his videos even more in the future. Currently he only has 121 subs, so go and check him out and give him a sub, he could really use it. Next we've got Gigantic Moose. This guy is extremely new and he arrived in the poop scene about a year ago. And his editing is just phenomenal. Everything that I've seen by him has been incredibly fluent and smooth, and the masking's way better than I could ever do and I've seen many other people come up with. I honestly think that he already has experience with YTP, or has at least edited for a long time, because his work is very high tier for someone who hasn't been pooping for too long. When I saw Ed Boys as Victor and saw he only had about 50 subs, I was genuinely surprised. Now he only has about 301, which is definitely higher, but you should all go and give him a watch since he also deserves more attention, and I really would like to see his videos improve in the future from where they already are. And finally, a guy who has slipped under the radar for a few years until just recently, we've got Enigmatic. This guy is like Awful Forful 2.0, and no, I do not mean that he rips her off. His videos feel original enough to stand up on their own. I mean, just look at this. Would you expect a guy with editing this good to only have 138 subscribers? No, he deserves way more. I found his channel on Reddit through his YouTube poop. Sponge Robert envisages his companions in the void of bereavement. And when I saw it, I was extremely impressed by his work, which of course is why I was so flabbergasted to see he was so small a pooper. You see, when I saw him at that time, he only had about 15 subs. Yeah, 15 subs, and he's been around for about 2 years at this point. That's criminal. So I posted his videos all around Discord and on YTP Mania to try and get some more people to watch it, and it seems to have worked as his numbers are actually growing, and that poop in question currently has 3,000 views. But still, to anyone watching, if you haven't seen him yet, go check him out, go give him a sub, and God knows he needs more than what he has. And I think that's everyone that I wanted to shed light on in this episode. Of course, there are plenty more little known poopers around, but like I said, we'd be here all day if I tried to list them all here, so go and have a shop around yourself. There's plenty of poopers that need some love. Who knows, out there you might find a new favourite pooper you've never heard of before. Well, that's pretty much all we've got so far. This was basically a test of sorts to see what you think about what we're up to with this new news series. In the future, we're going to try and branch our show out and experiment with a few different ideas, like moving characters, animations, a rotating anchor list, and the like. Also, don't expect a set release date or a schedule for these episodes. Basically, they will come out whenever they get finished, but I promise you, they will come out. You just gotta be patient, y'all, and the poop will come. Unless you eat chili, in which case you should probably consult a plumber and get that looked at. Anyways, that's all from me. I am the Mushroom Gamer. This has been YouTube Poop News 2.0, and I hope you have enjoyed what you've seen so far. Later, dorks!